Hey guys, welcome back to another AI video, and in this video sponsored by Novita AI, we're gonna explore how to make custom generative AI templates on Novita AI. You can deploy your custom generative AI workflows as a templates on this website and potentially make money building those templates as well. More on that later in the video. Now these templates can be of any publicly available GitHub repo or any LLM of your choice. So let's start the video. So I have this workflow stored on my local machine. This workflow can turn your line art into really good looking anime images or realistic images if you want that. In this workflow you can switch between different models, you can switch between different LoRa's if you want to. Now this entire generative AI workflow exists on a folder inside my MacBook. This is that folder. Now the problem is my MacBook is not powerful enough to generate large images using this workflow. For that I need more compute. So what we can do now is we can pick this workflow from my MacBook and we can make a template of it and publish it on Novita AI website. From there we will have access to higher end GPUs like RTX 4090, A100 and many other options. So let's start that process. So in the first step, the folder that contains this workflow and all the necessary dependencies, we need to make a Docker of this folder. Different machines run different operating systems. Like for example, you have Windows, Mac and Linux. This means the ComfyUI workflow we created on our Mac may not work on other machines because the environments are different. That's where Docker comes in. Docker lets us create a standard container which allows our workflow to run on any machine regardless of its environment. Just define the environment once and Docker automatically takes care of the requirements needed for that system. So our workflow is now cross compatible and it can run on any machine which we have defined. If you don't have Docker installed on your system, you can simply install it by going to this website over here. Once you have Docker installed on your machine, we need to follow a few simple steps to create a Docker container of our project. The first step is to verify everything is set up properly inside our folder. You need to make sure all the necessary models and requirements for your project to work are present inside the folder. So for example, for my project in models checkpoints, I have the model I used to generate the anime artwork over here. So once you've made sure everything in this folder is ready to be turned into a template, we can go back to the root of this folder and we need to create something called a Docker file. Now this is the Docker file I have created. You need to make sure the name is Docker file and the first D is capital. This is basically a text file and the format is something like this. So inside the Docker file, we have all the steps that need to be followed whenever this project is being started on a different machine anywhere around the world. Now in language of Docker, these are called dates. So for in this example, I am building this for this platform specifically. So whenever someone else will use my template, these steps will be followed in this specific order. So first up, we're setting the environment and then we're setting the working directory, we're installing all the requirements, and ultimately, lastly, we're starting the ComfyUI using this command. If you're building ComfyUI based templates, you can use my Docker file as a base template. Okay, so once the Docker file is ready, we can make a Docker image and push it to Docker Hub. So I'm gonna close this folder over here and I am gonna open up my terminal. Now as you can see, I am in the root directory. If we list, we have our Docker file over here. Also make sure you're logged into your Docker inside your terminal. If you are not, you can do that by typing docker login. I'm already logged in, so I'm not gonna do that. One more thing you need to be sure of is make sure you have your Docker app running on your MacBook or laptop. This is the app I'm talking about, the Docker desktop app. Once you made sure of those two things, you can simply write this command. Now in this case, Cruise and Coffee is my Docker username and this is the name I want to use for my project when pushing it to Docker Hub. I'm gonna click on enter now and it has started creating an image of our project. Okay, once that is done, our image is ready. Now we can recreate this project as it is on any machine as long as it's the specified machine I've built it for. So now we won't have to exactly recreate this entire project each time we want to run it on a different machine. When we'll pull this Docker image, it will recreate the exact project folder structure as it is on a different machine. Now I'm gonna simply push this. I'm gonna write docker push my Docker username and the name I used for this image. Now it's gonna push it to Docker Hub. It's gonna take some time depending upon how big your project was. One more thing you can do is if you can download your models later on from inside ComfyUI, you don't have to have them here in this folder. That will save you some time while uploading or pushing this to Docker Hub and then pulling the image on Novita AI or any other online platform. Okay, we are done pushing our image to Docker Hub, and if we go and search for it, we should be able to find it. Here on Docker Hub, I'm gonna try to find the image, and as you can see, that image is available on Docker Hub. Now using this image, we can clone this exact project as it is to any other system. Now this is the URL for our Docker image. We're going to use this image URL to create a template in Novita AI. So let's go to Novita AI now. I've logged into Novita AI now, and we're going to go to the templates library. As you can see, there are a lot of templates available already, but we're going to create our own. For that, we can go to templates and click here on new template button. Okay, first off, we need to write the name for our template. Whatever name you end up writing for your template, make sure it's straightforward and easy to understand, because if you're setting your template public or even private using credentials, other people are gonna be using your template. So make sure it's easy to understand what this template is about. Next up, we need to write container image, which is the address I showed you earlier. So in my case, it's gonna be this address over here. So each time someone uses this template, it's gonna create a Docker container. Next up, you can choose to make your template public or private. If you're making a private one, make sure to add credentials and tell about those credentials here in the readme section. We're gonna choose to keep it public. If you want to make a custom command to start your container, you can set that over here. However, we're not gonna do that because in our Docker image, we are already executing the run command at the end. So ComfyUI will be started automatically whenever this template is set up on a GPU or a server. So we're not gonna do that. Here you can set your container disk space. This is gonna depend on what kind of models you're using. I'm gonna set it to simply 20 GBs. And for the exposed ports, I'm gonna write 8188. This means that the container, which is our ComfyUI workflow, will run a web server externally on port 8188. We want this web server to be accessible externally. That's why we're gonna expose this port. Next up, you can add any environment variables if you want to. For the readme section, make sure to add a really detailed readme script so that whoever wants to use your template, that person has a full context of about what this template is about. If your project depends on any external dependencies or if they need to download any models, for example, in this case, I have purposefully not included this control.model model in this project. I have mentioned how to download it using ComfyUI Manager, and in this video I'm going to be downloading it as well. So make sure everything is really easy to understand and as straightforward as possible. Once you're done with all of that, simply click on Save Template and your template should appear over here. Let's go to Templates Library and we're gonna scroll down. So whatever template you have built, it will have a little mine written on the top left corner. We're gonna go to instances and we're gonna create a GPU instance and we're gonna use our template for this. So you can change your template from here. I'm gonna click change template and I'm gonna look for the template we just made. Okay, this is our template. I'm gonna click on this and I'm gonna choose a random GPU. Let's try the RTX 5090 because why not. I'm gonna click on deploy and I'm gonna click on next from here and click on deploy. Now it's gonna start pulling our Docker image and it's gonna create a Docker container. So it's going to create an exact replica of the project inside our PC. So while it's pulling the template, it's going to be here in purple color. You can also see the logs over here. and you can see it has started to download our Docker image from Docker Hub. You can see the progress. Once it is done downloading everything, you can see our template has started. Now we can simply click on connect, and we can connect to the exposed port that we set while setting up the template. And as you can see, ComfyUI has started, and the project we had in our computer, it's here on Novita AI now. Now we have two missing custom nodes that I did not install when making a Docker image. So we know we can simply install these by going to ComfyUI manager, install missing custom nodes, but we need to add the steps to install these custom nodes here in our ComfyUI template. So I'm gonna go back to templates. I'm gonna click on edit, and I'm gonna update the readme file to add the steps to install those custom nodes. So I have added that step over here now. So once again, make sure this readme file is as descriptive as possible, so anyone using this template has no issue whatsoever when using this template. We're gonna go back and we're gonna install these custom nodes now. As you can see, the model I selected, the uploaded with the Docker image, the model is here, so I have selected that. And in the readme file, I've also mentioned we don't have any control net over here yet. To install the control net model, I have written here in the readme section. I'm gonna copy this part over here, and I'm gonna simply paste it over here, and it should pop up. I'm simply gonna click on install, and after that the workflow should be ready to go. Following that, control net should be installed. Yep, it is there. Our main model is there. I'm gonna upload an image over here. This is the image I uploaded, the line art image, and this is the result we've gotten. And no, this is not the result is gonna show up over here. This is the result we've gotten. You guys can play around with this template if you want to. Make sure to close your GPU instance after using your template so that you're not charged for any extra compute. Okay, so here's how you can make money by building these templates. First up, the first 60 people to visit Novita AI and signing up using my link down in the description box below will earn $5 each in GPU credits. On top of that, the first 50 people to create winning templates based on this criteria over here will win $50 each in GPU credits. This is the criteria to make winning templates, so make sure you follow these steps when building your templates. The templates should be easy to use with variety. They should have a clear readme like I showed you guys earlier in the video. They should be ready to go. If there are any external dependencies, make sure to include clear instructions on how to set them up. Lastly, it is encouraged to make templates based on popular open source projects. You can make templates on any LLM or Stable Diffusion workflow or famous GitHub repositories. When you've made the template, you can submit them on Discord using this link. I will also include this link down in the description box down below. So be sure to visit Novita AI using my link down below and claim that sign up bonus. Also, if you need my help in setting up templates, feel free to reach out to me in the comment section down below. I will try to help you guys if I can. Lastly, once again, I'm gonna attach the qualifying criteria for winning templates over here so that there's no confusion. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.